And welcome to Diabetic 365. And today we have a very special guest, Allison, who is she's a Dlife coordinator, community coordinator, and she has type 1 diabetes, and she's going to share all the experiences she had from the past few years. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, VJ?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for being on the show.
Anytime.
So the first question is, tell the viewers, when were you first diagnosed? What was your first reaction? What was your exact age at that time? And what was your parents' reaction? Just encapsulate it in a quick 2 to 3 minutes.
Wow. Okay, well, it was during college. I was actually studying abroad in Paris, France. I was feeling really sick. I was really thirsty. I was losing a lot of weight throughout the summer. And when I got to France, it continued. And, you can attribute it to lots of different things. I thought, well, maybe I'm just addicted to coffee, and that's why I feel tired all the time. Or maybe I'm just walking around all the time, and so that's why I'm losing weight. Or finally, I was Skyping with some friends, and they were like, just go to the doctor, and I was emailing home, and my dad said, just go to the doctor, just figure what else. I thought I had mono. A girl in my program had mono. And so tired, and it got to the point where I was shampooing my hair in the shower, and I had to let my arms rest because I couldn't even shampoo my hair the whole time. It was that tiring, that fatigued. So I had to switch home safe, and I said to my health mother, I need to find a doctor. She found one for me right around the corner. He asked me some questions, and then he, French, and then he said diabetes, blah, blah, blah. And then, whoa, what? And I had to do some blood tests, and I came back a week later, I was like, okay, what's going on? I haven't heard any test results, and I'm feeling worse. And I went in, and he said, well, wow, this is your results. Okay, well, what are you doing tonight? And I looked at my planner, and I was like, I'm free. Why do you ask? And he said, well, go to the hospital. So I was like, what? Why'd you ask me what I was doing if it's important to go to the hospital? So I went home, and to my house, to my homestay, and I told my French mom, j'ai besoin d'aller à l'hôpital. I have to go to the hospital, thinking she would offer me a ride. Oh no, just put her cigarette on the phone. Blah, 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 goodbye, son. Oh my gosh, okay, so I had to figure out where's the hospital, how do I get there? And so I had to take a couple metros, like subways, and then I had to get out and get up to the ground level and take a bus, and then I got there, and I was walking around, I didn't know where I was supposed to go. I ended up by the morgue, which is not fun, and I'm shuffling through the courtyard. I was so tired. I was crying. I had snot bubbles all over me. I was so upset, and eventually I got to where I needed to go, in the ER, and immediately they sat me down, they took my blood glucose, and the French nurse, he goes, oh la la! And he wheels the wheelchair around. I get in it. He takes me around the corner again. And then I'm in the hospital bed, 2 IVs in each arm right away. And then they said, a man came in, a sculptor's doctor, because they wanted an English-speaking doctor for me. And he had like a glass kind of wandering eye. I don't really know what was going on. And he leans over the bed just like this. Just like this. And he goes, Allison, you have diabetes. And I just froze. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, where are the cameras? This is a joke. And, no, that was real. And I was hooked up to insulin and all sorts of stuff, and I couldn't call home because the hospital was full. I didn't have my own hospital room. And so that meant that I couldn't call the U.S., my parents. And my little cell phone couldn't do that either. And so I called my house-stay mom, thinking maybe she'll want to know. She didn't answer. Just left her a message. So I stayed there overnight, and they wanted to switch me around to different hospital rooms, and I felt so alone. It was unbelievable.
In college, when you came back to United States, and how was your college and your life till now? You worked in as a JDRF, and you also had your own tango dance fitness or something, and also now you're working at Dlife. So the other thing is, how did you make completely a lifestyle change to cope up with your type 1 diabetes?
Well, I stayed in France and then I came back to the U.S. and I've always been really, really active. I grew up a dancer and a gymnast, and I taught both of those things once I was in high school. And I went to University of Colorado, so I was always skiing and hiking and I was moving. But now it was like, wow, how do I eat? And especially in college and with social situations and being 21 and you can drink now and your friends want you to go to bars. That was really tough because I was scared. I didn't really know how to handle it, sort of. When I was in France, everybody drinks wine all the time. So I was diagnosed and drinking wine like the next week.
Uh-huh.
But not the way that American college kids, guzzle stuff. So there were some friends who, kind of had a hard time. They made me feel really bad for having diabetes. I'm like, well, why don't you want to go out? And they didn't understand. And I lost some friends because of it. But I kept being really active, and I checked my blood sugar all the time. And I wasn't really shy about having diabetes. Even still, obviously, I'm not. I feel more comfortable with telling people. So if I'm in a group and I've just met people, just like here, I just moved to Connecticut, I don't really know anyone. Mm-hmm. And I usually try and make sure that at least one person in the group knows I have diabetes. Mm-hmm. And so, that means I have to maybe take a break of whatever we're doing. I don't know, walking around town and have some food. Mm-hmm. Or not to freak out, it's not a big thing, but I just need to sit down for a minute, otherwise it could get really bad. I told myself when I was in the hospital bed in Paris, all alone, I was crying and crying and crying and crying for me. And finally I pulled up my britches and I was like, listen, myself, if this is the worst it's going to be, I'm going to be fine. Because diabetes is treatable. We know what it is, and we know how to handle it. So as long as I arm myself with knowledge and I apply it, I'm going to be fine. So, and that means I'm not going to let what I want to do and who I want to be deter just because of diabetes. I'm not going to get in my way. So, yes, I love to travel. So I continued my travels. I went to the Dominican Republic. I lived there for a month with my diabetes, and it was tough. And one night I woke up at like 35. It was so scary. But I had some juice really quick, and it was okay. And I went to Peru and did earthquake relief. Mm-hmm. And so you're moving all day, and it's so hot. And I was acting really silly. All of a sudden I was tap dancing, and I was pretending like I had a hot pad on. And of course my friends knew I had diabetes, and so one of them said, you're just cracking my thumb up, you're so silly. And they go, do you need to check your blood sugar? And I thought, ooh, yeah. And I sat down and I did. I was low. And so then some Peruvian kid around the corner was like, oh, do you want a vegetable? And I was like, oh, yeah, I really do. So I'm really, I like working at Dlife because it's all about educating, connecting, and inspiring.
Exactly.
And that's how we make it more comfortable to be, doing whatever you want with diabetes, because the more people know about it, the less likely it is that someone's going to make you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. Uh-huh. So you're also in this UAB type 1 diabetes study where you intervene workshop with 15 or 17-year-old kids and also their parents to improve their communication and diabetes management, right? So what is the communication gap you saw in teenagers with type 1 diabetes, and how can it be improved?
Well, just so you know, I'm not working on that study anymore. I graduated, so now I'm up here. So the thing about being adolescent, a teenager with diabetes, is that, sometimes you grow up with it, and so your parents take it upon themselves to manage it. They're always giving you the shots, they're always telling you need to check your blood sugar, and they're not always going to be there. That's the fact of life. You're going to go on to college, you're going to move out of the house, get a job, whatever. You're going to be a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to talk about these kind of things with your parents or your caregivers, whether it's your grandma or your own mother, whatever. Because sometimes the parents don't realize that they're kind of stifling their child.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it was difficult, and you're already at a teenager age, you're already kind of like beating at your parents, like, I don't want to listen to you, and all this kind of stuff, and then with the diabetes on top of it, it's really difficult. So yes, we did see improvement, and if you have to focus, and so if you take just very small steps
Mm-hmm.
of recognizing that whatever your issue is that you talk to your doctor about, like maybe you forget to take your shot when you're supposed to, or maybe you forget to check your blood sugar, and so just a small step, like I'm going to check it one more time a day, so I'm going to check however many times. Maybe you're checking, I don't know, 3, and just say, okay, I'm going to check it 4, maybe 5 times a day, and just let that be your goal. Don't work on everything at one time. And then once you meet that goal, then you can change it to other improvement areas. And then your parents will be proud of you, and they'll let you have more responsibility.
Exactly.
Maybe they'll let you strive more. And then, when you are ready to move out of the house, everybody feels much more comfortable that you'll be able to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
So it was a really positive experience. I really enjoyed it. Everybody involved was really nice to work with.
So